guys, Lori here. I'm here today to do my 2018 reading goals recap thoughts video. This year was probably the most crazy year of my life because for the first year, I read half of the year until like September. I was off from work. I didn't have a full-time teaching job, so I was really I had a lot of time to read, and you definitely will see that in my stats this year. And then come September when I got hired, I think it did affect my reading progress just because it was a very stressful couple of months with having a new teaching job and dealing with all that stuff. But I actually had pretty good stats for this year, and I actually did increase them from last year. So my stats for this year for what I've read is I read right now at the time of this recording, it's Christmas Day. I have no life, and that is why I'm filming videos on Christmas Day. I read 152 books, physical books. I really hope to get to 155 by New Year's Eve. That's my plan. And I listened to 14 audiobooks. So pretty good stats. That's my goal for next year, to read at least 150 books. I don't know if that's doable, but that's my goal. My audiobooks, I definitely was also in the middle of rereading Harry Potter again. It is my hope that I can just finish it this year. That's my hope, but I have a couple of chapters left, so it'll definitely be finished next year. But overall, my stats were pretty good this year. I definitely read more than I thought. The previous year, I read 132 books, which is actually a lot better. But again, I had a lot of free time this year. So those are my stats, and I was actually pretty happy with them. I was just watching my video and I realized I totally surpassed my stats that I wanted. I got higher than I thought I was going to, so that's really good. And I will talk about, right now I'm at 225 on my blog, and I'm at 168 on, 225 on my YouTube channel and 165 on my blog. And I will talk about my goals in my 2019 video, but that is a lot of progress that I made, and I'm super proud and impressed with myself with that. So hopefully we keep getting more subscribers and I can reach my goals, but I will talk about those in my 2019 goal video. The global Harry Potter reread definitely failed, just because I fell off the train. And I think what the problem was is that I was doing two reads simultaneously. Like, I was reading along with the official Harry Potter book club, and then I was also reading along with my reread, and we eventually got to the same book. So I was reading the same book in two different locations, and I just got very, very confused. So I ultimately stopped doing the global reread of Harry Potter and just kind of went along with my reread of Harry Potter, which was I was up to book 6 of Harry Potter. But it has taken me so long that midway throughh the year, MuggleCast, which is the podcast that I religiously follow, they started a reread of Order of the book 6. So I've been steadily going along with them. So I started to reread it, and I would have finished if I just continued, but I felt like I really needed to read it in a more quicker fashion. So I'm really hopeful that I can finish book 6 by the end of this year. It's my goal. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it is a goal. So I'm going to say that this is half succeeded and half failed, because if I don't finish it this year, I will finish it the first 2 weeks of next year. So Harry Potter has been a consistent part of my life. I've just switched up the books that I was reading. Mostly this year, I've mostly read completely all of book 6. So hopefully I can continue that and definitely finish book 7 next year. That's my plan anyway. So my Harry Potter goals was a success and was a failure in some regards, but that's how goals go. Sometimes you get them and sometimes you just don't. A goal that I totally failed in for 2018 was keeping track of the books that I got rid of. I know that I did get rid of a lot of books last year because before I went to BEA and BookCon and all that other stuff, I really got through a lot of books, but I just wasn't keeping track of them. I think I do have videos on my channel where I go through all the books that I got rid of, but I wasn't keeping track. So I'm going to really try to keep better track of that stuff this year. Just so I know what books I wound up getting rid of. So that's going to be that we'll talk about that in 2019, but I definitely did not do that this year, and I really should have been doing that. So that goal was a total failure. One of my goals for 2018 was to buy less books, and this is the goal I make every year, and it's just kind of hard for me to do that because I like to buy books, and I want to support Barnes & Noble, and I want to support, book companies and stuff like that, and I go to a lot of book signings, so it's just hard. I think I'm gonna talk about this in 2019, to organize that and to see, how many books I really am buying, but I'll talk about that in my 2019 goals and resolutions. But yeah, I did okay. I didn't do great, but I did okay, so that's I did 50-50, I'll say. One goal I did actually do good a bit with was using the library more. And I've always had at least 2 books out of the library, like, for the entire year. So that I actually did do better at. I actually did use the library a lot more, utilize them for new releases, especially sequels, and tried to avoid buying sequels unless, like, I knew I really liked it or was going to see the author. So that was actually something I did do well. I did use my library more. Yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit more in my resolutions, but for 2019, but I did actually use it more than I did the previous year, which is really good. Another one of my goals was to find homes for 50 new, like, to rehome 50 books once I'm done reading them. I think I definitely did that. I don't have, like, the actual stats. I'm going to talk about that in my 2019 video, but I know I got rid of, like, at least 4 or 5 boxes of books over the course of the year, or I gave books away to friends and I didn't want them back. So all that stuff I actually did pretty good. So I think between everything, I definitely um, found homes for more than 50 bucks. I just don't have an exact stat. So I'm going to try to keep a little bit better track, but I'll talk about that in my resolutions video. But I am going to put this in the check category. I did make goals in regards to my Owl Crate books, and I wanted to read all the Backless books that I still had from Owl Crate, and I actually read all of them except for the Sandcastle Empire. And I think I did give Sandcastle Empire away just because I wasn't that interested in it. If I still have it, it's still in my shed, and it's not on my shelf right now. But I did wind up finish reading Foolish Hearts, Glass Bear, Hearts That We Sold, which is actually super good. I'm going to chat about the Owl Crate books that I still have not read in my 2019 resolutions video, and hopefully I can quickly read those. But I actually am pretty proud with my Owl Crate reads because I actually did read all of the books that I said in that video except for Sandcastle Empire. So go me, that's a plus. I did wind up doing 2 reading challenges this year, and I actually did pretty good. For the Pop Sugar reading challenge, I only missed 8 challenges, which I actually thought was pretty good for the first time ever doing it. And for the Beat the Backless challenge, I did wind up reading, let me tell you, I did wind up reading like 56 backless books, which actually is pretty good. So for that challenge, I did really good. And for the Pop Sugar reading challenge, I actually didn't miss that many challenges. So I'm actually going to call those both pretty much a success. For next year, I am going to be doing the Pop Sugar reading challenge again, and the TBR and Beyond challenge, and the Backless challenge. So those I'm definitely going to redo. And I will talk more about those in my resolutions video. I also had the brilliant idea to attempt a Cinda Williams Chimer read-along, and I did almost finish the first series, which is actually pretty good, but I still need to read The Sorcerer's Era, so what I think I'm going to do is next year I'm going to try to read that series. So I just didn't do that great. And I also, in the middle of the year, I did start a reading group, which we're doing backlist challenges too, like series. So it's just been a lot to read. But I didn't finish my Cinda Williams Chimer read along. My hope was to read 1 book every month, and I definitely did not do that. But I am almost close to being done with the Air series. So I'll talk about that in my 2019, but that's a goal that I would like to eventually complete. Another one of my goals that I sadly did not finish was to complete the entire Harry Potter lexicon, which includes all 7 books and all, like, the supplemental materials. And that is largely because of the Aloha More podcast. It's just taking me a long time to read them. So hopefully next year I can make some more progress. I doubt I will finish the entire lexicon next year, but I definitely want to finish Deathly Hallows next year. So, and I will talk about that in my 2019 reviews, but hopefully I definitely did not do it this year. That was not a success. So I didn't even finish reading 1 book. So definitely not a success. Another goal that I had was to finish the Shadowhunter series, and I didn't finish it, but I did read Lady Midnight, which I thought was actually pretty good, and that book's pretty long. So I am going to hope to read Lord of Shadows and then read Queer of Air and Darkness, because they're both massive, like, huge. But James Masters is the audiobook person for that, so hopefully I am a little bit more motivated, and I heard that they really do need to read back to back, so perhaps it's best that I did wait so long to read them. But I really did like Lady Midnight, and I'll be curious to see what happens in Lord of Shadows and what happens in Queens of Air and Darkness. So that I'll talk about that in 2019, but I did not complete it, but I did finish Lady Midnight. I also had a goal to be fully caught up on the Rick Riordan series. I am definitely not caught up on his Imprint series because I have not read a single one of those books, and I still am 1 book behind in the Apollo series, The Burning Maze. But I did finish Magnus Chase, which is good. So I did not succeed in my goal for this, like, at all, but I am really liking those books, and they are definitely on my soon TBR for the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019. My goal to use my TBR jars totally and 100% utterly failed. I really have to rethink if I'm even going to do it for 2019. I got to think about what I'm going to do with them because I don't ever use them, and they seem like such a good idea, but I don't know if it's a good idea for me. I'm just trying to think like how I can do it. So I'm gonna think on that before I make my 2019 video and see like if I do want to try to do it again. I'm not really sure. But it just did not work this year. I don't think I pulled any books out of those jars. Which is sad. So no, it just did not happen. Sorry guys. I had a bookshelf system where I was going to like have one shelf be all my favorite books, and that just didn't really work. I wound up using it more as like an ARC shelf. So that wasn't really that successful. But I did get rid of a lot of books on that shelf over the course of the year, so I did actually take away a lot of those books. So that's my recap for my 2018 goals. Let me know how you succeeded in your 2018 goals, if you found massive success or massive failure. But yeah, I'm definitely going to rethink my 2019 goals, and I'll get back to you guys, but just a recap of what happened in 2018. It was definitely a crazy year with being off for so long and then getting hired really unexpectedly. It was just like a quick turnaround. But overall, I had a really good reading year, and I read a lot of fun things. I got to do a lot of fun things. I got to go to BEA for the first time. I got to go to New York City Comic Con again. It was just a really fun year. I really loved it. I got so much reading done. I experienced so many books, went to so many different worlds. It was just super fun. So I had a really good reading year. I cannot wait to see what 2019 brings, and hopefully you guys decide to stick along with me. But I'll talk to you guys later for another video. Bye.